What's it like to fly a lot, in your view?
Well, I probably have a little bit of a different view of travel because when I travel, I'm largely on Delta, and obviously everybody knows who I am. So I'm not sure I get the candid view of what the experience is at all times. And believe it or not, I travel more in the back of the bus than I do up front. So
You travel in the back of the bus or plane?
Back of the plane.
You travel in the back of the plane?
I travel in the back of the plane more often than not because I want to experience what our customers are experiencing, and I want to see how our people are doing, and I want to make certain our premium customers are sitting up front and not an executive of the airline.
I'll go with that. You're sitting in the back of the plane. I shouldn't have to ask this because I know. What's it like? What is it? Is this something where you're looking at what the environment is and saying this has got to get fixed and we got to do this differently? And
yeah, absolutely. Where can we improve our service, or how's the food for sale program being received? And I buy it just like everybody else buys it. I'll spend my $10 and taste the product, and I will be there to make certain that I understand from a customer experience.
Yeah, I guess over that
I like a challenge.
Over that 19 years, it's been some ups, a roller coaster for sure, right?
It's been rewarding. You talk about seeing a cycle. We've seen a full cycle from going through the depths of the restructuring process and the bankruptcy and almost losing our company to where we are today, arguably one of the very best, I think the very best airlines in the globe.
You're a little biased, but yeah.
And I'm proud of our people because what we were able to do was recapture the spirit of the company. And if you don't have that to begin with, you can never go reclaim it.
Right.
And we went through our bumps, and we went through a difficult time back 15 years ago. But we were able to go back and touch the people, let them know what happened, that it wasn't their fault, it was the management's fault. The management got the company in trouble, not the employees.
Right.
They are the best asset, not what they were made to feel like at the time as a big cost. And let them serve by putting the tools and the reliability and the systems in place to do a great job.
What's the future hold for Delta? What are you focused on? What's the long range plan?
Well, a couple of things. The people are going to continue to be rewarded and supported, and that's always number one for us. Number two, we're going to accelerate our globalization. The investments that you've seen us make in Mexico recently, in Brazil, in London, in China, you're going to see more. And we're going to be bringing our networks, global networks, closer together. This is a unique strategy that we're on, and I'm confident that it's not just 5 or 10, but it's going to pay dividends 20 and 30 years from now as we continue to expand our network, a family of airline companies, and I'm really excited about that. A large part of that is making certain that we're bringing our staff into local markets and bringing our local employees up to Atlanta and other places so that we have a cross mix of culture and learning with rich diversity of experience. It's really powerful when you think about where we're headed. And I'd say the third thing we're focused on is technology. Technology, I'll be honest, technology for us this past few years has been a vulnerability. And we need to turn it into a competitive advantage. I believe it's a competitive advantage. We're not all the way there yet. We're going to have our new data center open in September in Alpharetta, Georgia, so that issue we had a year ago with the outage is never going to recur.
Yep.
We're going to be able to continue to then build on the reliability and the tools for digital technology and be able to put our people closer to customers. And we think about Delta, we serve 200 million customers a year. Our goal is to be close to our customers, to anticipate their needs, to understand what they want before they know what they want.
Yep.
Technology is the only way you can do that. And with our legacy environment, with some of the vulnerabilities we've experienced, we're going to invest $500 million in technology this year alone to try to get there. And so that, to me, second to our people, technology is our competitive strength.
It was really a kind of need to be very hands-on. This is a business where truly the devil's in the details. It's high analytics. And my style generally is to be very, very deep into the detail, hands-on with the people. I'm very passionate about the success of Delta Airlines, and I think you need to be that way to make your mark in this industry.
You go into the executive building not far from here, and there's a big LCD monitor in the lobby, and it's like a gigantic live PowerPoint presentation that's all analytics. It gets down to having to measure and track is the only way to make this work.
It is. We want to make certain our employees know every single day how we're doing, how they're doing. at the end of the day of serving our customers. So the metrics that you refer to generally relate to the reliability figures, the on-time arrivals, how we're doing with baggage in terms of making certain that bags are getting with their customers, levels of customer satisfaction and the like. And we want to make certain that all the executives know on a real-time basis how the employees are doing. So it's the same monitors. You'll see it in the corporate offices. You'll see it in the crew rooms, at the airport. You'll see it on the buses that carry our employees from the parking lots to the airport as well. It's a business around the analytics and keeping everybody's head in the game.
And how do you tell and convince an individual that they have an impact on those analytics?
Well, the neat thing about the airline industry is that it relies on everybody pulling together. It's the individual that's out pushing that aircraft that's just as important as the mechanic that's making certain it's ready to go, as the flight attendant who's serving our customers, as the pilot that's shepherding it, as the sales agent who sold the ticket. And it requires every single individual doing their job and coming together as a team to deliver the product. So if any one piece, any one link of that chain starts to slip, the entire experience starts to fall. So it truly is a team business. And we spend a lot of time with our employees talking about teamwork and how to work together across various divisional lines, because at the end of the day, it's all about the customer. And if the customer is going to be there, going to be satisfied, everyone's got to pitch in. Okay.
Tremendous issues related to the mergers of two companies. You're talking about not just finances and equipment and routes. The routes seem to fit well. But anytime you do this, you get into merging cultures. Mm-hmm. How do you, as the architect and the captain, make the possibility of this being a successful merger the best? How do you figure this out?
Well, I agree with you, Richard. The cultural aspects of integrating these two companies that both have very long and proud heritages is going to be our biggest challenge, and particularly true when we've already announced that the Delta brand will survive. So the Northwest brand will go away in the marketplace. The red tail, as is affectionately referred to up north, is going to disappear from the landscape. It's very tough. In fact, I've got a lot of empathy for the Northwest folks, given that we went through our own challenge with the hostile takeover with U.S. Airways a couple of years ago and looked at the possibility of losing Delta. So I understand.
And losing Atlanta as a base.
Losing Atlanta as a base. So I understand and appreciate what's going to be what they're going through. Several things that we're doing about it. First, we've already got our pilots on board. It was very important to us to negotiate with our pilots up front what the terms of the new deal were to garner their support. We've done that. We've done that not just with the Delta pilots, we've done that with the Northwest pilots. So a very key and important labor group has already signed on in support of the deal, and so we're moving forward in that aspect. Secondly is that I'm going to personally be up in Minneapolis most of my time going forward. Once the deal closes, I'll be the CEO, so I'll be adding another title to my profile.
Get some great frequent flyer miles doing this.
Of Northwest Airlines, and as a consequence of that, the reason I'm doing that is because I'm the Delta person that can kind of take Delta forward to them and can be there and live amongst them to understand what Delta brings to the table, what we ought to focus on with respect to the merger, what we should not merge and leave alone, what locations and what job functions to stay in Minneapolis, because we're going to have a very large base of operations, 25,000 employees within Northwest, half of those that are housed out of the Minneapolis location. So,
but there, in fact, are agreements in place with the city, is that right? That it maintain, the headquarters had to be maintained there, I believe, is even what it said.
Well, that is what the covenant said, and as a result of the fact that the headquarters is going to be here in Atlanta, technically they could call the debt, which would mean we'd have to pay the debt back of about $200 million. At the end of the day, I don't think it's going to come to that. We are in negotiations with the state of Minnesota to that effect, but there are going to be key locations and key job functions that we're going to need to retain in Minneapolis.
How do you sleep at night?
I actually sleep pretty well. When you work in a crazy business such as the airlines with a lot of volatility, you focus on what you can control, and you realize there's a part of it that's out of your control, and you stop trying to control it. And fuel, for example, fuel will be what it is, and it's something that across the landscape we're going to react to, we're going to respond to, but you can't worry about. The best way I do it is I make sure I have a great team of people around me, and we do. We have a great team. We've got some great people out in the front line serving customers, and we have some great people behind the scenes taking care of business, and they keep us propped up. And I'm blessed to have a great team around me, and that's what allows me to do my job.
But what is that truly separates Delta apart in the service level? It is the people. It's the only thing in an airline that can't be replicated. And we truly believe we have the best. I'm sure everyone will tell you that, but I know we have the best people, and the results are evident. All you have to do is look at the operational performance that we've been posting over the last several years. It's at an unprecedented level, and there's nothing more important to a customer than delivering the product and the service on time, on schedule, with the bag promptly delivered in a manner that people come to expect, and in raising the bar around expectations. You know, in 2012 and 2013, our employees turned in a 99.5% completion factor rate on the main line with an on-time arrival rate within 14 of 85%. No airline has ever, on our scale, achieved that level of reliability over such a long duration, and we're posting those numbers again in 2014 as well. And with this level of commitment of excellence from our employees, you know, the customer satisfaction scores continue to rise to new highs. The profits are raised to an historic level of profitability, and our shareholders are happy with the returns we're seeing. But despite all of that, the most gratifying rewards that I see in my job, and I think many, I can speak on behalf of my colleagues of the management at Delta, is what it does in terms of changing our employees' outlook and the motivation and the incentives and the rewards when they know that 15% of what we make goes to them. Back in 2005, I think one of the smartest things that we did, we didn't have a whole lot of money, in all candor. But what we did say is that when we started to produce profits, our employees would get paid first. And 15% from $1 of the profits of the corporation go to our employees. The management team doesn't participate in that. In fact, any bonuses that we get paid get added back into the pool. You know, they don't even get deducted from that level. And on this we paid on Valentine's Day. This past Valentine's Day, we paid over $500 million of profit sharing to our frontline employees. And you talk about a happy day to be flying on Delta. Valentine's Day is the day to fly if you want to be flying with us. But for the first time ever, we're finally seeing a carrier, and that's Delta, our carrier, step out and say that we're going to take control and we're going to make decisions. We're going to be bold and courageous and willing to go where no one's gone before. And I think it's really at the core of some of the change that you're seeing that we've been implementing. And you know, when we talked about that, and we set on this path about 10 years ago, while we knew it would be a daunting task, we also knew that we had the strength of 80,000 of Delta's finest that was behind us, and having the strength of the people and the service and the level of spirit at Delta, that we could do the remarkable. And I'm very proud of the people at Delta in terms of, because that's exactly what we are doing. We are doing remarkable work.